Hey guys, it's Adam from Loose Pixel and welcome back. Now I want to take you on a little journey into my past, before I even started working professionally and into it. Back in the early days when I was studying animation and fine arts back in college and university, and later on becoming a young professional and then transitioning into from animation into illustration a little bit later on, because I want to take you on a journey on how my focus, on how my ambitions and how my possibilities transformed over the years. My career evolved into social media, but it didn't start there. So the popularity that I gained, if any, was through my direct peers, through my classmates in school, my family, my close friends, and then eventually my colleagues. Social media wasn't really mainstream. I'd say it wasn't until my second job, working in a more professional game studio, that the internet really started to become a household thing, that communication became a household thing, and YouTube really was not really a thing. I don't even know if it was, to be honest with you. All of these things that we're benefiting from today, that I'm communicating to you through right now, is really in its infancy. And it has completely transformed my perspective on my career. In order to be known, I had to be noticed by people physically close to my sketchbook. I'd be sitting in cafes sketching people, and people would come down and check out my work, or sit down next to me and chat me up, fellow artists. Or, I'd be sitting out sketching somewhere and I would grab people's attention. I wasn't really the gallery type. I wasn't a fine artist in that sense. I was an animator. So my ambition was really to get into studios. So if I wanted studios to notice me, I had to get my portfolio, and it was a physical portfolio, it wasn't an online one. I had to get everything printed in a nice leather portfolio and basically door to door myself, go to different studios, offer my CV, present my face, put on a big smile, put on the charm, and hopefully I would attract somebody's attention. When it came to looking up jobs, that was done through classifieds in the newspaper. So there were only 2 days of the week when the newspaper was released that I would see new postings, and I would jump on them as quickly as possible. This might sound like I'm talking about back in the olden days, but it's not. I'm still a pup as far as that goes. I'm only in my 40s. This is stuff that's very, very recent. And it's only now that these things are really, really changed. Not changing, but that the world has settled into this very defined change. So how did things transform? How did things evolve in my career? Well, when it came to making a name for myself, as I just said, the idea of global popularity, the ability to reach out and get feedback and get the eyes and attention of artists worldwide wasn't even an option. The only way that you could get that kind of popularity would be to be a TV star like Bob Ross. And there's only one Bob Ross, right? We don't have 1,000 Bob Rosses as far as that goes. Now, I can post something online and I can have people from Germany, from Bangladesh, from Italy, from the US, from South America, from Canada, from Russia, from Poland, from Africa, all comment on that same thread. Furthermore, being a YouTuber, I can sit down in my studio and share my story with you. I can reach out to you on a very personal, emotional level. Something I just didn't have the power, I didn't have the ability to do back when I first started out my career. But that doesn't mean I had an advantage. That doesn't mean that I started earlier on and I caught the wave while the wave was still hot and that you've lost the opportunity. What really transformed, what really brought my presence online to a different level was when I had a shift in focus, when I had a shift in priority with regards to making connections with other people. Now, you notice I just kind of hesitated. I didn't say being recognized, being noticed, being seen. I said making connections. The reason I stopped myself, the reason I hesitated from saying that is because that would be inaccurate. It would be inaccurate for me to say that I found a way to get your attention. Because that would imply that I've got some bait, I've got some hook, I've got some talent, I've got some magical skill that you don't, that makes me more publicly attractive than you, that makes my artwork more appealing than yours. What actually shifted in my focus was what I focused on. I stopped trying to get attention, and I started giving it. I started to notice others. I started to prioritize other people's feelings, needs over my own. My desire early on in my career was for people to know me. I wanted to create artwork that was so good and so appealing that I would attract people's attention. And you could say, well, that's pretty egotistical of you. Well, no. Everybody wants to be noticed. Everybody craves and enjoys attention. And I'm not immune to the joys of getting attention. But I don't prioritize that anymore. Because I realized that no matter how hard I tried, no matter how much attention I tried to get, it was never enough. And I ended up feeling very discouraged. I ended up feeling like I wasn't good enough because, well, nobody's paying attention to me. And then I realized something. By wanting other people's attention, I'm expressing a need. And that need that I have of being noticed is, in essence, isolating me from the very people that it is I'm trying to connect to. Think about that for a second. By craving attention, I am trying to get something from you. But we're in the same boat here. While I'm trying to get something from you, you're trying to get something from me. So we're both fighting over that same spotlight. We're both fighting over that same popularity. But only one person can get it. So one person ends up losing and one person ends up winning. And when you play this game, you realize that that basically makes it survival of the fittest. It basically makes it that if you don't have exactly what it takes, if you're not the top dog, then everybody else starves to death. And I realized that instead of trying to get from others what it is that I want, instead I would give to others what they want. And the moment I did that, everything almost instantly turned around. I remember being at a schoolism workshop. It was an after workshop party type of thing, and Bobby Chu and all the other artists were there, Carla Ortiz and you name it, the whole gang of awesome artists, and Steven Silver was there too. I got a chance to meet them. Luis Gonzalez was there as well. And I remember there was a big group of people making a big circle around Bobby Chu, and they were asking him some questions. And Bobby Chu was asked the question, how do you make a name for yourself publicly? And he said, pay attention to other people's needs. Remember that people are visiting your channel. People are coming to check you out. People come to see you because there's something in what you have that they might want. People don't want to give you attention for the sake of giving you attention. People want to give you attention because giving attention to you is rewarding to them as well. There's a reward to them to pay attention to you, because otherwise you're just begging for attention. And that's probably the worst way to get it. As soon as I shifted my focus onto other people, I realized not only was it far easier to make connections with other people, so long as it was authentic, you're not faking it, you're not putting on a "aww" face. No, You authentically pay attention to other people. You authentically reach out to other people. When you ask somebody how they're doing, don't do it as a courtesy. Ask them the question. Stop and listen and pay very close attention to what they tell you. And by doing so, you start to realize that that's how you should have done it all along. You realize that the act of reaching out and helping somebody else, the act of putting yourself at the service of other people's needs emotionally, gives you not only a sense of purpose, but it gives you a sense of importance. It gives you a sense of contributing something valuable to everybody else. Your talent in and of itself, your artistic talent, is not an attention lure. It's not a hook intended to grab people and pull them in. Your talent is a conduit into finding a means to connect with other people emotionally. I'll give you a perfectly good example of this. Dice Tsutsumi, in his Fox and Pig animation, I think it's called The Windmill. When I saw that animation, I'm sure I felt what every other person on this planet felt. I felt completely heartbroken, emotional, sad, touched. I just felt emotionally transported. I felt completely invested into these characters in the story. Why is that? Is it because it was an epic story of somebody who had superpowers and who was so much better than me, somebody who I could idolize? Or is it because it was a story about a little boy who was a bit of a reject, he was a bit of an outcast, and he finally found a friend who cared for him unconditionally. And then that relationship was challenged, and there was a risk of losing that one friend that he had. What did Dice Tsutsumi write? What did he animate? What did he create? Did he create a story trying to show off how good he was? Or did he write that story and light it and color it and animate it and design it to capture your heart, to connect with you on an emotional level? Understand that Dice's animation, Tonko House animation, was created to give you a home for your feelings. Dice Tsutsumi could not have animated that if he was thinking about how to get attention from other people. He animated that because he was trying to touch you on an emotional level. He was trying to reach out and share a commonality with you, to share a very intimate, vulnerable feeling and thought. I mean, I don't know Dice on a personal level. I've never met him. We're not best friends yet. I'm sure if he offered, I wouldn't turn down his offer. But I have a very strong feeling that that story is based off of personal experiences. It's just so touching and authentic. You can see that this is a subject that really hits home for him. You could see that it was really something that mattered to him. And as such, the authenticity rang through into that animation, and it completely stole the hearts of everybody who watched it. I remember, speaking of Dice, Bobby Chiu, partners in crime, right? And I remember Bobby Chiu in one of his early art talks he did years ago, before schoolism, and I think he was still doing subway sketches and stuff like that. And he was talking about how his characters, creepy, cute creatures that are uncommonly cute, things that might be misinterpreted but have a soft core. And that's really what gives his creatures, his characters, so much charm, so much relatability. It's the fact that they're a reflection of being a little boy who felt like a bit of an outcast, being a part of a minority, and dealing with perhaps feeling a little bit invisible as a kid. There's a lot of authenticity in that. See how that person, that art is a reflection of that person. And that person is somebody who goes out of his way to empower other people. Ever since I've ever discovered Bobby Chiu, I've always known him as being somebody who always made every single effort to empower, to educate, to comfort, to offer security to help other people build. He's dedicated himself to the betterment of his community. And that is why everybody loves him. That's why he's a leader in the industry, because he's not out for himself. He's always been out for others. Schoolism, the moment he gained a tiny little shred of notoriety, of popularity from doing the Tim Burton film, despite all of the amazing work he'd done prior to that, the minute he got that little hook of popularity, he immediately reached out to other artists and started to build a platform. He started interviewing different artists on his channel, and before you knew it, he started a school. And once he started a school, he decided to start doing schoolism workshops and traveling around the world. His entire brand has been built off of the using his popularity, using his fame to build the careers of other people, and everybody around him has benefited as a result of it. And I've met him personally, and I spoke to him and I thanked him. I had a chance to thank him to his face and shake his hand and tell him what an inspiration he's been in my life and everybody else's. And when he thanked me for it, he thanked me. It wasn't a canned thanks. That's really sweet. He was truly touched by my words. He actually took a moment, and he didn't know who I was. I wasn't Adam from Lucid Pixel. I was just Adam, and I probably had around 50 subscribers on my channel at the time. He probably didn't even know I was a YouTuber at the time. And he was authentically touched. He saw me as a person. He identified with my feelings, and I felt that. And I want you to think about that too. You might feel very alone because you feel like you're not good enough. You might feel like you're alone because you're trying to reach out to a community that's not paying any attention. And that's making you feel like shit. It's making you feel incompetent. It's making you feel like a loser. Listen to me talking to you right now. I'm reaching out to you to share with you that we're in the same boat, that we both feel the same feelings. And I'm here to offer you a place of comfort, a place of community. And that word community means a place where all of us can feel like shit together or feel awesome together, depending on which way the wind blows. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because while you might be sitting there thinking to yourself that you're a useless piece of crap who's never going to make a name for yourself artistically, you don't realize that every single time you write a nice comment on my channel, you make me better at what I do. I get emails from people, I get the comments. I mean, could I ever possibly wish for a more uplifting, affectionate, authentic comment section on my videos? I can't. It's just pure positivity. When I'm dealing with all of this crap from politics or trying to ignore it, and I'm hearing about all this corruption, all these horrible things going on around the planet, I literally come back to my comment section and I just read some of the comments and just hear the authentic affection that I get from other people. That energy that you're sharing with me, that positivity that you're sharing with me, don't just share it with me. Don't just use it to thank me. Use it to reach out to everybody. Create your own ecosystem, your own platform for sharing that kind of affection by showing your empathy, by showing that you're willing to invest your energy into the betterment of other people. And I guarantee you, not only will your quality shine, but everybody else's will shine too. I'm going to close on a comment on a quote from Jim Carrey. I'm going to be paraphrasing him, of course, because I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he said, "How blessed am I to have accomplished something in my life that encourages others to show their best quality to me." And just like him, I want you to know that all of that quality that you praise others for, including myself, is all of that quality that you possess, because it takes one to know one. All right? And with that said, I love you all with all my heart, and happy painting. Take care.